Well, hello. It's time for another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks I've been using throughout the week. So, let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, do you have any good Halloween jokes? I'll share an inappropriate one at the end of this video. In the meantime, let's look at some pens. As I said, the voice is not quite here, but we'll get through this. So from left to right, we have the Senator Windsor, the Aurora Optima, Pilot Justus 95, Vintage Aurora 88, Parker Vector XL, a Pelikan M1000, Lamy 2000 with the amber black finish, and finally the Senator President. Hopefully I don't get any trouble like I did last time over the Senator President. As always, I'll be doing my writing in this seafood-flavored cognitive surplus theory notebook. So the first pen is the Senator Windsor. Just a nice, slim, unassuming black pen. There's a nice little steel nib. Gold-plated, but it's steel. It's proving to be comfortable. I didn't mention it during my review, but it's got a concave section, which kind of helps it just feel good in the hand. That is not how you spell Senator. So I'm using my safety goggles with the bifocals in them, and we should have put on the reading glasses. The ink in this is Lamy Turquoise. I did just recently use up my Lamy Bronze. So that was really exciting because, as I have mentioned, I'm trying to work through my bottles of ink, and using up that bottle of Lamy Bronze was great. I've replaced it, I think you'll see it tonight if I remember right, with Lamy Mango, which is more of a yellowish orange. I love the concept of yellow ink, but I haven't found any truly yellow inks that I like. This is the Aurora Optima Soleil. I had a comment from a viewer who mentioned he had one with an 18 karat gold nib, so I'm not sure what the difference is. Mine's 14 carats, so he gets more carats. But, they were a special edition and mine's numbered, so I may have to actually research the model and find out what's going on. But anyway, Aurora Optima. Doesn't that look good? So mine has a medium nib in it. And when I say doesn't that look good, I mean specifically this ink. It is Diamine Autumn Oak. I am going to fit the word oak in here somehow. Just a ink with some very nice shading and a very nice color. Hard to think of anything bad to say about this ink. Unlike a lot of the, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but some of the other orange Diamine inks I've used, this one does not form little crusties. At least not that I've seen. Couldn't take it. I went and grabbed a pair of cheapo reading glasses. Alright, next pen is the beautiful Pilot Justus 95. I think I promised last time to write in hard because I think I wrote in soft last time. I really don't remember, but I feel like I made that promise, so I'm going to keep it. Between being sick and everything, which I'll get into later, it's hard to remember this stuff. So I've just set mine to hard. So this is the Pilot Justus 95. Mine has a fine nib on it. I think you can also find them in medium. And mine is filled with Noodlers, Black Swan, in English Rose. A very nice color, and I don't know, when I use this up, I'm going to be strongly tempted to buy a new bottle. I'll just be honest. I just really enjoy this color. It's a very muted red, with very nice dark shading to it, especially not so much in the hard setting, but when I have this in the soft setting. Or put it in a very broad nib, and it's woo! Alright, the next pen is a vintage Aurora 88. Now this ink has a more pinkish cast to it. Alright, vintage, just for future reference. The ink in this is platinum. Classic. Lavender black. This is one of my favorite models of vintage pen. It's just, they got everything right. And I almost think it's time for a revisit to it, if I recall. Let me look here. May 3rd, 2017. Yes, I can do a revisit if I so choose. So I think I so choose. So this will be a perfectly good ink to show off in it. It has some shading. A little bit interesting because it's a iron gall ink. Just kind of a fun experience. And yeah, I'm trying to use it up. This took the place of, I used up that Dea Trementis Apple Blossom a few weeks ago. So this has taken the place of the Dea Trementis Apple Blossom as my sort of purple. This is my, advance the screen a little. This is my Parker Vector XL, the modern form of the Parker Vector, which I much prefer to the older form of the Parker Vector. The ink in it is a little finicky. I probably have not been using this pen often enough. But anyway, it's a Sailor Storia ink. I'll just write Storia. So they had a whole series of circus-themed inks, and they're all pigmented inks rather than dye-based. I was taken with the concept, but I ended up, this is the only bottle I ever bought. I think I did a review of the samples. I think I just realized that no, you're not going to use it up. And, let's just be honest, I think I was starting to realize back then, yeah, you've got a lot of ink. This is a fun pen, Pelikan M1000. I recently sold my Pelikan M800. I thought about doing a rodeo where I compared the two pens, but I guess that's never going to happen now that it's sold. But it's in a better home with somebody who appreciates it, so it's a win-win. Now this nib is it has some definite flex to it. I have a medium. One of these days, maybe I'll do it to celebrate paying off my house. I'd like to get a fine nib for it. The ink in it is Akkerman, Groenmarkt Smaragd. And I think this pen really shows it off beautifully. In some pens I don't think much of this ink, but man, you put it in the right pen, and this is definitely the right pen, and you see that, wow, that is a sweet color. Now, it's not exactly my beloved Sailor Epinard, but it is a very nice shading green ink. And I don't have much familiarity with Akkerman inks, except for I really like their bottles. I got an empty bottle that a viewer sent me here. I keep trying to think, what's an ink worthy of putting in it? And so we'll see. One of these days I'll put something in here. But they've got the marble that, you know, when you fill the upper reservoir, then you tip it, the marble provides a seal to keep the ink in this upper reservoir. My next pen is my beloved Lamy 2000. I see some other pen reviewers are coming around to the love of this pen. This one happens to have a fine nib on it. And the ink in it is Pelikan, Edelstein, Onyx. A black ink that I haven't used up yet, but I'm getting toward the bottom of the bottle. Very excited to see it go. I'm not sure what's next, but I have a few bottles, small bottles of black ink that will fill my time, and they can be quick victories for using up black ink. Now, there's something to be said for using up a big bottle of ink, because, ooh, that's a victory. But, you know, use up a bunch of small bottles and you free up a lot of space. This is my Lamy 2000 with the amber black finish. It was just a coating over, I think it's stainless steel. I want to do a rodeo someday comparing the different versions of the Lamy 2000. So we'll have to think about that. So this is a Lamy 2000. This has an oblique broad nib in it. And the ink, once again, is Lamy Turquoise. I'm not sure. I think I have one more bottle of turquoise ink left. It's some kind of a sailor ink. Sky High or whatever. And then I will be able to buy one bottle of turquoise to replace the multiple bottles of turquoise that I had before. I'm very tempted by this one. I also really liked the Iroshizuku Amairo, so I'll have to decide. You know, first world problems, I guess. And then my last pen that I've been using is this. We won't show the Ukrainian words on it so we don't get another visit from the FBI. But this is a Senator President. Plus, my voice, I don't have the energy to deal with the FBI. Can I say it shows off this ink very well. This is another ink I'm trying to use up. This is Omas Gray. And the nib itself is my broad gold nib. You can quite easily find Senator Presidents with steel nibs. The gold nib is a little less common, so I just got lucky. And, you know, having the Ukrainian Ministry of Coal on it does give it a little bit of character, even if when Ukraine is in the news, it gets the wrong people's attention. But hey, just lately, the whole argument over who's going to be Speaker of the House has been in the news, so I think Ukraine has been pushed by the wayside for now. Oh, and a war kicked off between Israel and Hamas. So, anyway, this pen is almost empty, so don't expect to see it next week. But those are the pens I've been using this week. Now, as a special treat, a couple of weeks ago I was in Bismarck, And I bought of course, I visited some used bookstores, among other things. I'm actually supposed to be in Bismarck right now, but with all the snow and other things going on, I chose not to do that. And I can't convince myself that I was wrong with that instinct. But this is a book. It's called Safari. Let's pull this back just a bit so you can see the whole thing. So Safari, and it is a foticular book. It says New York Times bestseller. And inside, I was just curious about the copyright date because I was sure it was an older book. Nope, 2012. But anyway, I think you saw with this cheetah. Yeah. Never race a cheetah because cheetahs never win. These photographs in it, if you could hear that, are ridged. So there's multiple frames in each photo. So here's a lion, and I'm not lying. So, kind of fun. Here's this gorilla chewing. Rhinoceros just sort of rhinocerosing. I think that's a baby zebra. Walking backwards, now we're walking forward. There's an elephant. Not doing much, just flapping his ears. I'm not sure exactly what I'm reflecting off of. And here's a gazelle. Oh, there he goes backwards. Let's send him forward. And then here's a giraffe just sort of ambling through the savannah. So, just kind of a fun book I saw in the used bookstore, and I decided I want that. So I bought it, because I always spend too much money when I visit used bookstores. That's just my really, really, really bad habit. So I thought that book was really cool. I mean, I was surprised at the copyright date. I honestly thought it would be a lot older, but it was still cool. I figured nowadays they'd use like a QR code or something, and you can just scan it with your cell phone and watch a real video. But very cool book. We can get into the physics of how it works sometimes, but basically there's a whole bunch of ridges with bits of different images printed around them, so you see different things at different angles. I'm nerding out, I'm sorry. So I want to mention right away, I'm not ready to close up my Q&A yet, but I'm getting close. I may be stuck indoors because there's a possibility of a lot of snow coming my way. It may also fizzle and be nothing, but I may be getting a lot of snow, so I may be stuck indoors with nothing to do but answer questions. So, get them in. I put a link down in the video description, and I will announce in advance before I close it. But I'm probably going to close it off over Thanksgiving, which is in late November. Unless I get a lot of questions before then I'll close it off earlier. But yeah, if you've got questions, feel free to throw them into that Q&A. I missed Pens in Use last week. I don't feel guilty even slightly. I was so unbelievably sick. It has been years since I've spent 4 days in a row sick. I'm not somebody who gets sick very often, but when I get sick, I make sure I get sickety, sick. I was sick. So for 4 days, pretty much my home was the couch you can't see over here. Or the bed, because I'd kind of alternate between them. And, I'd be shivering for a while, and then I'd be just drenched in sweat like I'd been working out. And I felt like I'd been working out because I was just sore everywhere. I'd be sweating, but then I'd be numb in spots, just like I'd been out in the cold, and felt horrible. no, gory stuff. Sorry to disappoint anybody who was hoping for that, but it was, man, I could not do a thing for 4 days in a row. And like I said, it has been years since I've been that sick. So, yeah, I was excited because I had 2 days off from school. I had scheduled myself. 1 day is going to be all devoted to school. We'll spend part of it in the classroom, working on the classroom, getting it perfect. We'll spend 1 day here at home working on the house, getting it perfect, and the yard, because it's kind of the end of the good weather. The snow's coming in. And then I was going to have 1 day to do something fun. I had several options in mind. I hadn't quite decided I was going to decide that day, but never mind. And then I was going to have 1 day to just kind of vegetate at home and just relax and read a book or something. And guess what? I didn't even read a book because I felt so awful. So, yeah, it was a rough weekend. So, anyway, that's over with. You can hear my voice because I have one lingering side effect from this, whatever it was, which is I've got a cough. But my voice is coming back, so you could hear it just about go there. So I'm not going to talk too much longer because I need to give it a rest. But I just wanted to share two other things real quick. So one of the things, I just wanted to share a Halloween joke. I heard this one and it made me giggle like a 14-year-old. So, why don't monsters eat ghosts? Because they taste like sheet. Okay, so if you know a good Halloween joke, feel free to share it down in the video description, as long as it doesn't get me demonetized, please. The other thing I wanted to share... What was the other thing about? Oh, it was about the snow moving in. So I've heard as much as 11 inches. I doubt it's going to happen where I live, but it's possible you could get up to 11 inches, maybe more, up in the northwestern part of the state. I'm hoping not here, because then we're going to get a stretch of cold. I've already got students saying, they're going to cancel school on Thursday, aren't they? And I'm like, no, they're not. Because we're not going to get enough snow for that, I'm sure of it. But anyway, it's coming. Winter is coming. I already moved coats around, so my winter coat is the first one to grab tomorrow morning when I head off to work. Because, yeah, I walk to work. So my college dream was to walk to work. I had a dorm. I lived in a dorm room that kind of overlooked. There was a street paralleling the college and then a neighborhood across the street. And one of the math professors must have lived in that neighborhood. So every day I'd see him walking home with his briefcase. And I just thought, that's what I want. Just to be able to walk to work every day. And guess what? Since fall of 1999, except for a few odd summer jobs, that's what I've had. The ability to walk to work every day. At every school I've ever taught at. So I think that's a win. And... what year is it now? 2023. So fall of 99 to fall of 2023. What's that? 24 years or something? So yeah, 24 years of teaching and 24 years of not driving the car to school. Which could be a reason why I'm 47 years old, soon to be 48, and still on car number, guess which car number I'm on? 2. The first car was a Geo Prism. It was a 1990 Geo Prism that I bought. I used it to drive to student teach, because I had to, I was student teaching 9 miles away from the college. And then I kept that for a lot of years. I'm trying to remember when I got rid of it. I think it was in my 6th year of teaching, so 99 plus 6 would be 2005. And then I bought the Toyota Camry that fall. That summer. Because the Geo Prism was doing a weird thing where I'd already had to replace an axle in it. And it started doing the same thing. So I took it to a mechanic again and he says, yeah, you know what? It's your whole rack and pinion that's about to go. And I said, oh, how expensive is that? And he says, $3,000. And I said, not on a car that old, because it was 15 years old. So I found this Toyota Camry. It's a 2000 Toyota Camry if you care. 5-speed if you care. V6, not that I'm flexing. And so I've had that since 2005. So the car I'm driving right now is 23 years old, and it's proven to be quite a reliable machine. I know her day is coming to an end. My goal for it was to have this house paid off before I start looking at a new car. And unless something bad happens this winter, I think I'm there. And I'm not one of those people who believes, knock on wood, because it's not like knocking on wood is going to do anything. So I'm not going to knock on any wood. But I'm not even going to do it after the video, I promise. I don't believe in that stuff. But anyway, she's been a good machine. Now my new goal, because she's about to meet that original goal, my new goal is if she gets to be 25 years old, I can get special plates for her. And I think it would be hilarious to be driving a Toyota Camry with the special collector's plates. I want to do that. So I've got to keep this car at least 2 more years. And I don't care. I will eat the $60. If she kicks up her wheels and dies after a year with the collector's plates, oh well, I will spend the extra $60 to have collector's plates on her for a year. I don't care. I will blow the cash. I want collector's plates on a Toyota Camry. So that's my new goal with this car. Probably is going to scare my mother to death that I'm thinking that way, but I want those collector's plates just because of the humor of driving a Toyota Camry with collector's plates. So now you know my goal in life. So I'm going to cut it off there because, like I said, I need to rest up my voice. I don't want to backslide. So I promise you did not want to hear from me last week. I wasn't even up to doing not a live stream, what are they called? A short. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching. And if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old, and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, let us know down in the comments if you have any good Halloween jokes that won't get my channel demonetized. So I'm going to close this out with driving footage from Highway 10, which used to be what connected Bismarck and Dickinson before they built the interstate. And you'll notice to this day it is unpaved. It never was paved in that part. So I want to thank you for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.